Today, I want to share a couple of stories with you that completely wrecked my mindset. I mean, it shifted my mindset in such a way that the transformation was thorough. Yeah. So welcome back again to Prosperity is My Portion. I am your host, Jahneh, author, entrepreneur, and legacy strategist. And this podcast is for anyone who is seeking to improve their financial situation, grow spiritually, and live a life of abundance. So thank you for joining me on this episode and taking the first steps towards a prosperous future. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I want to use this episode here not only to encourage you, but I also want it to challenge you. Let me tell you about maybe two or three, we'll see, two or three situations that really changed my mindset, and evidently it shifted. When it shifted my mindset, it began to change my outlook on life. So for those who don't know, I have a background in banking. That's what I was doing before the Lord said, Kier, get up off of that job. So in 2017, I began that journey in banking, started off as a teller, worked my way up to being a universal banker, a floater, representative, a senior banker representative. I forgot the name of the title now. But anyway, over the years, I was able to advance and be promoted to, different areas. Nevertheless, one bank that I work with, and I really believe that this was so divine. And I'm telling you, as I'm saying this, I really want you to pay close attention to your environment, your surrounding, people that you connect with, places that you go, because it can be life changing. So this is really when the mindset shift began to erupt in my mind. I was working at this particular bank, and sitting in the office, I get a member that comes in, and she has a new business and she needs to open up a business account. So of course, I just enjoy talking to people. I love conversating with people, especially people that I don't know. And especially when they have stories that really inspire me, that intrigue me, and really get my creative juices flowing, as I like to call it. And she said, yeah, I cleared out my 401k, and she said that I took that money and started a property management company. And she said now all four of my children all four of my children have their own home. What she did was took her money from her 401k and she purchased 4 homes cash and made her children the owners of those homes. So she said when they get older, they have a home to live in that's paid for. And if they choose to, they can rent it out or sell it. But when she said that, I got my sticky note and my pen and I jotted it down. This was back in 2021. Fast forward, I come in contact with another client at a different location in his bank, because at this time I was a floater. And he comes into the bank, a very older gentleman, really scruffy. I believe he was walking with a cane. Didn't have the best stability or overall health. But as I was sitting there with him, he wanted to establish some business credit cards for his employees. He had his own business for quite some time. It was very successful. It had been staying for many years, I believe, with a record of like 15, 20 years in business. And he had multiple accounts, 401k, CDs, and things of that nature, with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in them. And I was just talking to him, having a conversation. And, he got to telling me about his son, how his son lived over, I believe, Germany, maybe Puerto Rico, somewhere like that. And he wanted to visit his son. He had no family here and he was at retirement age. So I was asking him, like, hey, what's your plans now? And I'm sitting here looking at his account like, you got a cool load of money here. What are you doing? So anyway, he said he would like to go to Germany and go visit his son. I believe that was his only son that he had. And he was pretty much alone. And only thing he wanted to do that day was to allocate $3,000 every month just to cover his bills and monthly expenses. That's all he wanted to do. But when he walked out, I was like, wow, God, he has hundreds and thousands of dollars. He can book a flight any day, book a excursion any day, book an all-inclusive trip any day, go fly across the fly across the country, without struggling, without worrying about enjoying himself while he's away visiting and on vacation. But the thing about it, you all, he wasn't able to. When he left out, one of my coworkers at that time said that, if he goes somewhere, and again, this was like right amidst COVID. So, there were still a lot of restrictions in place. But she said if he goes anywhere and gets sick, she said it could be detrimental to him. And I was sitting there, you all, in that moment, I'm like, wow, it's like we're both, it's like I'm on the opposite side of the table. He has the money to shoot to Germany in 24 hours if he wanted to, book a flight, pack a bag. But on the other side of that desk, I had the health to go. I had the bill of health to go. I had the passports to go, but I didn't have the finances to go. And I said, wow, Lord, we're both impoverished in a different way. I was impoverished financially and he was impoverished in his well-being and his health. So we both were, in a state of poverty, but just in a different way. And and I wrote about that encounter in my new book that's out called Still Becoming. And fast forward, I have another encounter. And this particular one wasn't with the client directly. It was a church that came in and received a check in the mail. And the church comes in with $1,000. A representative from the church comes in with $1,000. She said, hey, I just want to come in and verify that this check is good. It's not fraudulent. She said, we checked our books, checked our attendance, checked our roster, checked the tithe. We did everything. We cannot identify this woman. We have her name. No, her name cannot be found. So y'all, you know what? I'm just like, God is just so, when I tell you he is the great orchestrator, oh my goodness. Let me finish the story. I get the check put in the account information. And as the lady from the church is sitting across the desk in front of me, I am trying to contain myself. I pull up this lady's account and she has over $2.3 million in the account. Y'all, why did I see that? When I tell you, it messed me up. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so anyway, wait, let me pause there. Let me not jump to my expression. So anyway, I sat there calmly and I called the customer on that account. She verified. She said, yes, I wrote the check to the church. She gave me the amount. She gave me the name of the church. And looking at her date of birth, she had to have been in her 90s. And so now sitting there, as I clear everything with the representative from the church, I'm like, the check is good. She verified it. It's not fraud. You're safe to deposit these funds into your church's account. After this lady walks out, you guys, I am like, oh my goodness. And just like me and the Lord, we have a conversation. I'm going back to God. I'm talking to myself. And I'm like, oh my goodness, God. But listen, she had millions of dollars in her account. Now, this was just the bank that she had with us. There's no telling what else she had out there. But looking at her date of birth, she was in her 90s. I'm like, Lord, wait, I don't want to wait till I'm in my 90s to see $2.3+ million. I want to see that in my youth while I'm in good health and while my children while I can see my children see the fruits of it as well. Because as I started out, the lady prior, she bought investment property. She wanted to leave something to her children. The second gentleman, he could go travel and see his son, but he couldn't because of his health. And then the next lady, here she is of old age in the millions. And I'm like, I want my kids to see the investment now. I want to see. And I want to see them in it. I want to watch. I want to see the fruit of my labor in my children. I don't want to wait till, not saying that that was her intention. I don't want to see, I don't want to be going and then them seeing, experience the fruit of my labor. I want to witness it. Okay. So what I'm saying is I don't want to leave this big inheritance only for my children to obtain the wealth, to obtain what I worked so hard for after I'm gone. I want us to be living and seeing it, But you guys, what that did for me, it changed my perspective in such a way. And as I had those encounters, I was taking notes down. I was writing things down, making notes to myself. Just because I was in that situation then, that didn't mean that that was going to be my situation forever. And so what I want you the takeaway I want you to get from this is I want you to start with what you have until you get to where you want to be, until you get to what you want to have. I want you to take your environments and also not just take your environment, but I want you to experience new environments, experience new cultures, experience being around different sets of people, experience something different out of what you have, out of your norm, experience something different from what you have been raised in, accustomed to, because I'm telling you, it will help to cultivate your mind into a different perspective on life, how you see yourself, how you see your future, your family. Y'all, I had these 3 encounters and I was only at this bank temporarily. Little did I know, Kiara, you ain't about to be up in here very much longer. I was planning to stay there about, 3 more years. I said, I'm going to stay, I told my coworker, I'm going to stay here 3 more years and get promoted to be a branch manager. Then I'm going to save up, start my businesses. Well, y'all, that didn't happen. So again, despise not these small beginnings. I believe that's in the book of Zechariah. Don't despise your small beginnings. Don't get frustrated with the process. Even if you have to, like myself, I had to start out with food stamps. I had to start with Medicaid. I had to start in low income housing. I did it. Start with what you have. Work within the means of what you have right now. You get what I'm saying? So listen, if you gotta work those food stamps, work that Medicaid, work that low income housing. If you need to get the child support, listen, work with what you have. If you have to start there. But like I said, that is a start. And cause that was my stepping stone. I had to start there. I had to start. Don't start there and stay stuck there and get complacent there. And so what I'm saying is, even though that could be your situation, you could be in low income housing, you could be on Section 8, you could be in the projects, you could be going to one of the low ranking schools, but that is okay. Take experiences, people you come encounter with, and mark it, write it down. And that lady that came into that bank, listen, we're in 2024. I'm talking about, this is something that happened in 2021. That lady that came into that bank and told me about how she cleared out her 401k to start those businesses, that planted a seed in me. That planted a seed in me. So again, start with what you have, start with where you are, and let that just be a stepping stone. Let that be a step. Keep on pursuing, keep on aspiring, get in other environments, get around different cultures, experience something new. Listen, y'all, when I took my first all-inclusive trip to Jamaica, listen, that shook my whole, that shook everything. And me and one of my friends was like, girl, it all-inclusive done changed my life. Listen, y'all, those are the things you have to, sometimes in order to shift your mind, you need to be in another environment. To shift your mindset, you need to be around other people. To shift your mindset, you need to try new experiences. Do the thing that you never did before. Be around the people you never seen yourself being around before. You'll watch your life change, your mind change, your speech change, your perspective on life change, the way you see yourself change. I'm telling you. Matter of fact, let that be your homework. Jot that down. That's going to be my homework. I'm going to get around a new environment. I'm going to experience something new. I'm going to get around new people. Come on. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. So I just wanted to encourage someone today that do not despise your small beginnings. Don't get frustrated. Don't base your circumstances or where you're at currently as that is the end all be all. Cause sweetheart, is not. That is not the end all be all. So I hope this episode has enlightened you and encouraged you and inspire you to don't get stuck. Don't get complacent where you're currently at and where you're at. If that's not where you want to be, where you're at right now, just let it be a stepping stone. Okay. So again, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Prosperity is My Portion. And again, do not just say that. I want you to decree that today. Prosperity is my portion. I want you to go ahead, follow this podcast, whichever platform you are listening or streaming from. Follow this podcast, leave a review, share your comment. I want to read your comments. I would love to read them. Okay. And please become a part of this community that is dedicated to breaking the cycle of poverty. Cause listen, together we can unlock generational prosperity that will evoke a life of wealth, worth, and wholeness. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Grace and peace. God bless you. And until next time.